All right, so this is called 4.4 Part 2B is what I'm naming it, because it's just the last part of 4.4 Part 2. If you guys are, come on, pay attention, let's go. We have been talking about reference angles, and we're going to use reference angles to evaluate trig functions. All right, we learned how to find reference angles yesterday, so now we're going to take everything that we've learned in chapter 4 so far, bring it all together. You might have to find coterminals, you might have to convert from degrees to radians, you're going to use your special rights, all that kind of stuff is going to come into play right now in this one section. So if you notice, let's just kind of talk about what we did yesterday. Your reference angle is formed between a point on the terminal side. You draw a vertical line down to the x-axis, and then you have this right angle formed. Your reference angle is right here. It's the one at the origin. Everybody see that? So that would be your theta. So in regards to that theta, this is the opposite side, this is the adjacent side, and this is the hypotenuse. If we put letters to it, guys, the bottom, the adjacent side is the x. It's on the x-axis. The vertical is the y. It's on the y-axis. And then the hypotenuse is your r. All right, does everybody understand that? Everybody see that? So what we're going to do now is we're going to determine the function value using your reference angle. All right, we've done this already when I gave you the unit circle and an angle on the unit circle. So if you guys are asked to evaluate a trig function and it's on the unit circle, you would find the x value and the y value, because you would put your finger on it and say, okay, x and y. What is the x value if you know the ordered pair? It's the cosine. What's the y value? The sine, okay? To find the tangent, you put y over x, and then you do the reciprocals. So we're going to do the exact same thing, but you guys aren't going to have a unit circle. You're going to use reference angles and our special rights, and you'll be able to find that. Right? So we're going to figure that out in a second. Again, this chart is helpful for some of the questions on WebAssign, but you guys should know these things. If you don't, that's okay, because I'm going to show you how you can figure it out using special rights, but you should know at least your quadrant angles, guys. What is the ordered pair right here at 0, 360? What's the ordered pair? 1, 0. What's the ordered pair over here at 180? -1, 0. What's the ordered pair up here at 90? 0, 1. And what's the ordered pair down here at 270? 0, -1. You guys should know that. And then if you're asked to find the sine, cosine, tangent, all that stuff, you know that cosine is x, sine is y, all that good stuff. All right? You should at least know that much. If you don't, you need to be looking at that a little bit over the break. All right, so you are going to be given values, and it's going to say use reference angles, R-E-F-E-R. Use reference angles to evaluate. Now, I put the unit circle on here so I can just kind of like show you how you did this in 4.2 when it was super easy, and then how it's a little more difficult without the unit circle. But if I asked you for the cosine of 4 pi over 3, okay, let's look at the unit circle. Is 4 pi over 3 on the unit circle? Everybody see 4 pi over 3? Yeah. What's the cosine of 4 pi over 3? -1/2, right? That's what we did on our first quiz. You guys had the unit circle, you looked, you found this, that, whatever. You found the ordered pair, right? Well, you're not going to have the unit circle. So I'm going to show you how to figure out that answer when you don't have the unit circle. So we don't know, off the top of our head, we don't know exactly the degree value that we're talking about here is 4 pi over 3. So what would I do first? What would I do first here? Guys, what is the degree value for 4 pi over 3? How do we figure that out? We're going to convert it, okay? So we're going to, this goes in once, this goes in 60. So 60 times 4, 240, right? So what we're really finding here is the cosine of 240. Again, you're not going to have your unit circle. So we're going to use reference angles. Let's figure out where 240 is. This is how you guys would show me. Where is 240? What quadrant? It's in the third. It's over here somewhere, right? My angle goes over here. Everybody agree with that? Okay, so what is the rule for quadrant 3 if you're finding the reference angle? You're going to say the angle itself minus 180, right? So what's 240 minus 180? 60 degrees. Now, we have not answered the question. All we did was find the reference angle. So if you guys understand what a reference angle is, you take a point on the terminal side, you draw a vertical line to the x-axis. Do you see in red here this right triangle that we just formed? Yeah? What is this reference angle? What do we just figure out the measurement of this reference angle is right here? 60 degrees. Now, we know the special right triangle pattern for a 30, 60, 90. What is the pattern for a 30, 60, 90? What's across from 30? 1. What's across from 60? Square root of 3. And what's across from the right angle? 2. Okay, good. Very good, very good. Guys, this is your x value, right? It's going left and right. This is your y value. It's up and down. And this is your hypotenuse. This is your r. Now, where is this angle? We said it's in which, where? It's in quadrant 3. Yes, ma'am. Sure. What do you know about the x and the y in quadrant 3? They're both negative. So there's a negative here and a negative here. Now, we're using our special right triangles. We don't have this memorized. So we're using our special right triangles to figure this out. The question was, what is the cosine of this angle? Guys, remind me again, what's cosine? X over r. Okay, well, what's the x value here? -1. And what's the r value? 2. At the very beginning, when we looked on the unit circle, what did you guys tell me the cosine of 240 was? -1/2. So if you don't have your unit circle, which you're not going to, you will be able to figure out the trig functions on wherever the angles that I give you, because you're going to use your special right triangles as a pattern. All right? Yeah.
Are we having a unit circle?
No. That's why we're doing this. All right, so let's look at the next one. It says tangent of -210. Well, what did we do yesterday when we started off with a negative number? We found what? What did we try and find first? Huh? Not its congruent side. The coterminal. We're going to add 360. So let's add 360 to -210. And what do we get? What's 360 minus 210? 150? Yeah? Okay. So 150 degrees. All right, so what we're really finding is the tangent of 150. Tangent of 150. So let's figure out where 150 degrees is. Where is 150? It's in quadrant what? 2. It's in quadrant 2. It's between 90 and 180. So it's somewhere over here. Right? There's my angle. So I'm going to use reference angles to figure out. I'm going to use a special right triangle to figure out what the tangent of this angle is. So I'm going to take a point on the terminal side, and I'm going to go directly down to the x-axis. Does everyone see this right triangle that is formed? Okay. So if my angle is in quadrant 2, I have to find the reference angle. How do you find the reference angle for quadrant 2? 180 minus 150 gives you what? 30. Okay, so this little angle right in here is 30 degrees. Now we can use what we know about special rights to evaluate our trig functions. I have a 30, 60, 90. What is across from 30? 1. What is across from the right angle? 2. And then what's left over? What's across from 60? Square root of 3. Now, what quadrant are we in, guys? We're in the second quadrant. So to go to the second quadrant, my x value is negative. My y value is positive. All right, now we still haven't answered it. We're trying to find the tangent of theta. Tangent is y over x. So what is the y value? 1 over what? What's your x value? Negative square root of 3. Is it okay to leave it like that? Okay, so let's rationalize. I have negative square root of 3 over 3 is our tangent. Now, if you had your unit circle and you guys just went to the unit circle and you said, okay, the tangent of 150, we'd come over here. Where's 150? Here's my ordered pair for 150, right? So tangent would be 1/2 times, and I would flip. This would become 2 over negative square root of 3. That would cancel. I'd have 1 over negative root 3. And then when you rationalize, what does that become? Negative square root of 3 over 3, which is what we just figured out. So you guys you're not getting the unit circle. I just have it on here to show you, oh, okay, this is how the unit circle is not just like some random numbers that people just threw on there. It's all based on special right triangles. Yeah.
Do you memorize the unit circle or do you have to do
No, it's going to say use reference angle, so you have to show all the work. But I mean, that would be good to know because then you know what the answer should be. You know, it kind of gives you like a roadmap. All right, the next one. This is a little more difficult. Why is this one a tad more difficult? 2 reasons. Cosecant is what kind of a function? Is it a regular one or is it a reciprocal? It's a reciprocal. So let's not make any mistakes here. Cosecant goes with sine, correct? And sine is y over r. So what we're really looking for here is r over y for our cosecant, right? Once we get there. 11 pi over 4. Some of you think really well in radians. Some of us don't. So then just go ahead and convert it. It's not a big deal. 180 over pi. So my pi's cancel. 4 goes into 180 45 times. What's 45 times 11? Well, what's 45 times 10? 450. Add 45 to it. 495. So you're finding the cosecant of 495. But I don't know what quadrant 495 is in. How would I figure that out? Let's subtract the circle. Subtract 360. So when I subtract 495 minus 360, do I get how much? 135. Okay. Again, we haven't answered anything yet. We're just kind of figuring out where this angle is even that we're talking about. What quadrant is 135 degrees in? Okay, so it's over here somewhere. Looks like this. All right, so let's create our reference angle. Let's take a point on the terminal side. Draw a straight line down. Come over here. Does everybody see that right triangle that we formed? Okay. What is the rule for quadrant 2? 180 minus. So 180 minus 135 gives you 45 degrees. So my reference angle is 45 degrees. Well, we like 45s because the 45, 45, 90 is our easiest special right. What are the legs of the 45, 45, 90? Both of them are 1. So x and y are 1. And then what's your hypotenuse? The square root of 2. Now, since we're in the second quadrant, what are the signs of x and y? X is negative because you went left, and the y is positive because you went up. So this question asked us for the cosecant, was it? Cosecant of theta, which was r over y. So I'm going to say, okay, this is r, this is y, this is x. So what is the r value? What's the r value? Square root of 2 over what's the y value? 1. So what's your cosecant of theta? Square root of 2. So this is not like crazy hard. It's just everything that we've done. You got to convert from radians to degrees. You have to find coterminal angles. You have to know your pattern of special right triangles. You have to know where the angle lies. And you have to create the reference angle. And then you evaluate the trig functions based upon your special rights. So again, guys, I put the unit circle on here just so you could kind of see, oh, I see how this works, how this goes together. You will not have the unit circle on your quiz. Kiki asked a good question. She said, well, what if I memorize it? That's fine. That is perfectly fine. That will be helpful so you can check your answers, but the directions are going to say use reference angles to evaluate. That means I need to see all of this stuff. All right? Does that make sense?